Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for coming to our every Wednesday evening. We have Dr. Joel Wallach here, and we ask everybody to mute the phones. And in about 15 minutes, we can open up the calls for everyone to ask questions. So, legally, we must say that this meeting is for educational and entertainment purposes only. So, what you hear tonight is not intended to diagnose, to treat, or to cure. So, that being said, it takes great discipline and changes in our lifestyle, in our habits and mindset to have these protocols work. And we do know that they have worked. So we are here to seek true science-based clinical advice on the use of nutrition, and we do feel better. So if you have a desire to make a 90-day change in your lifestyle, you've come to the right place. Uh, to be respectful, please write down your questions and have them ready in about 15 minutes. So Dr. Wallach's team has created some wonderful products. We've taken on many different companies that have been started, and Dr. Joel Wallach has found all the wonderful products that work, and so he's maintained them, and we have them all right here. And we're so honored to be a guest tonight and for Dr. Joel Wallach to give us some education. So, Dr. Joe Wallach, the call is yours.
Okay, thank you, Pam. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, team. And tonight I want to talk about skin. Okay. In America, each year we spend just to treat skin disease, okay, just to treat skin disease, $75 billion a year. $75 billion a year just to treat skin disease. Okay, and your skin covers your entire body, your head, your face, your neck, your front, your back, your bottom, your legs, your arms, your fingers, your toes. Everything on the outside is covered with skin. Okay. Now, skin, 85% of the thickness of your skin, regardless of where it's at, is the same stuff that your tendons and ligaments and connective tissue and cartilage is made out of. Okay. So it's very important to know that. The thing you have to appreciate, no matter if you have eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis, rosacea, psoriatic, whatever. You have things like lupus, which has your bone marrow as well as the outside skin involved. None of these are genetic. None of them are autoimmune. They're all nutritional deficiency diseases. And of course, the medical system likes to use things that work quickly for relieving pain and itching and that kind of stuff, but they don't get to the basic root cause of the problem. We have looked at this, and the basic root cause of the problem is people eat the wrong things. Okay, you got to get rid of all the bad foods: no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no brown oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks, even the diet drinks, and also the carbonated water need to go because they neutralize stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food. And then you need to take on all the raw materials necessary that the skin needs. Again, the tendons and ligaments also require that. Okay. And so we like to use, when people have skin problems, don't just dab something on the skin, okay, because you're not going to get to the basic root cause of the problem. What you want to do when you have a skin issue, you want to get rid of all the bad foods we've just described, get rid of all the bad foods. And then I like to, per 100 pounds of body weight, take the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack per 100 pounds, okay, of body weight. And then you also need, per 100 pounds of body weight, one bottle of the MSM. Take 3 of those at breakfast, 3 at dinner time. And the MSM deals again with cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, including the skin. And then the collagen peptides is collagen from 4 different groups of animals. Okay, and that actually builds the tendons, ligaments, connective tissue, including the skin. And then you also want to make sure that you're taking the anti-inflammatory stuff. Okay, the anti-inflammatory stuff that let the skin calm down. And we're talking about well, let's look at it from the standpoint of something really quiet, like a rebound or sports drink. Okay, sports drink. That's going to give you internally more nutrients that are necessary for the skin, and and the connective tissue, in the tendons and ligaments and cartilage and that kind of stuff, but also in the skin. And it's amazing how that'll work. And then on the outside, we do have the CM cream. You can apply that to anything that's itchy and burny and that kind of stuff. And it'll give you about 2 to 3 to 4 hours of symptom relief. But I wouldn't just use that. You got to do all this other stuff to make sure that your skin is getting the raw materials it needs to maintain and repair itself. Okay. And we've been doing this for over 75 years. So we have a lot of experience in dealing with skin issues. Okay. Whether you're a teenager, whether you're a baby with diaper rash, okay, or you're a teenager with acne, okay, or you're a senior, okay, and you have other things going on, which includes the skin. Now, just by comparison, Parkinson's disease, very, very terrible disease. We spend $52 billion a year just to treat the symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Skin, we spend $75 billion a year just to treat the symptoms of skin issues, okay? But the skin, I mean, it really repairs very quickly, okay? Also, especially when kids are going through puberty, the boys can have the Zera test, and the girls can have the Zera Fem, okay? That's going to help them with hormones that make the skin happy, okay? The girly hormones for the girls and the boy hormones for the boys, okay? So again, the boys get the Zera test and the girls get the Zera Fem, okay? And that's in addition to everything else. And that'll give the skin the hormones that it wants to be happy, okay? Now, this is something that is unimpeachable, okay? The skin needs these nutrients. You cannot get them always from the food. Especially if you're eating the bad stuff like wheat, brown and oats and buckwheat, that prevents, even if you are taking the good stuff, but if you're eating the bad stuff, it interferes with the absorption. And she say, well, I've been taking all that stuff, but it's not working. What do you have for breakfast every morning? Oh, I have buckwheat pancakes. Well, that's why. What do you have for lunch? Well, I have spaghetti. What kind of spaghetti? Well, spaghetti. Oh, you're talking about rice? No. Wheat spaghetti. Well, that's why you're not getting any results. You got to make sure you're absorbing these nutrients, okay? And that means you got to get rid of all the stuff that interfere with digestion, absorption, and so forth. And if you do that, you will be blessed. You'll be blessed. And the skin is miraculous. The good Lord gave us the ability to heal quickly and universally. And so if you have something going on in your skin in between your big toe and your second toe, and on the back of your right arm and on your face, you have acne, all that stuff will go away if you follow just the recipe that I have laid out for you, okay? So, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Dave, and we can go from there.
Okay, Doc, that's pretty good info there. And, you know, my friend Randy in South Dakota, he called me today about his grandson who gets a rash on his hands. Pretty much, he's like 10 years old. Every year at this time, September, October, he gets a rash on his hands, and it's real itchy, and he scratches it, and it gets worse. And I pretty much told him, you know, what you just said. And are you on here, Randy? Can you unmute? Maybe he's not here. Well,
No.
It's amazing that you covered that. Oh, is that you?
Well, given the raw materials, the skin recovers quite quickly. It has, we have people who were bald for 40 years. We put them on this program, and in 2 months' time, all their hair grew back like when they were 12 years old. Okay, after being bald for 40 years.
And, you know, Rich is on here, and he'd like to see that happen for himself. He's been bald for 40 years. I told him he might need some new hats, bigger hats.
Yeah, accommodate all the hair.
That's right. Perfect. Okay, Pam, do you see any hands up? You're muted.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
We can.
Okay, thank you so much. So, Dr. Wallach, could you just, I just wanted to ask you if you could talk about muscular dystrophy, because, you know, when I was younger, I was in the muscular dystrophy skate-a-thon, and I felt great about doing that. And now it gives me a very bad feeling because of what I've learned. Can you express about that topic, please?
Okay, well, muscular dystrophy is not a genetic disease, very simple nutritional deficiency disease. And of course, we worked with Jerry Lewis and Jerry Lewis's kids, Jerry's kids. And to make a long story short, I used the program that was used in livestock and cattle that had white muscle disease. White muscle disease in cows is muscular dystrophy in humans. Neither of them are genetic. They're both caused by nutritional deficiencies. When I realized that, we began to treat kids, and we were following Jerry Lewis around. We were treating kids usually in Utah and Idaho and Texas and places like that, and up in Washington State and Oregon and Northern California. And we got dozens and dozens of these kids to go negative. Okay, they were positive for muscular dystrophy, and they went negative. And Jerry Lewis was so excited. He took all that information. Let's see here. This was September 4th, 2000 and 2011. Okay, and he took that to the Muscular Dystrophy Association for their annual meeting. And they summarily fired Jerry Lewis, put a gag order on him so he couldn't say anything to anybody. And the next day, September 5th, they shut down his telethon. And even though over 46 years he had raised $2.6 billion for them, they shut down the telethon. And Jerry Lewis died 2 years later, but he knew. I was so happy that he knew he had found the cause, prevention, and cure for muscular dystrophy. And of course, the rest is history. We were able to get rid of cystic fibrosis, thought to be a genetic disease, a birth defect, no, simple nutritional deficiency. We got rid of cystic fibrosis. We got rid of muscular dystrophy. We got rid of sudden death syndrome. And the doctors were blaming mothers for laying on the babies and suffocating them. And so finally we got all that straightened out. And so you don't hear much about those three diseases anymore, because we sued the FDA in federal court 8 times, got these nutrients put into the baby formulas. And as long as the kids were on the baby formulas, they didn't have the problems. Now, once they, graduated from baby formulas into school foods and cafeteria foods and everything, they were getting diseases again because they were eating gluten and buckwheat and eating all the bad foods and not taking supplements, which we had gotten into the baby formulas. But as long as they're on the baby formulas, they didn't have any problems. Okay. So that's our story about muscular dystrophy. It's a very simple nutritional deficiency disease. And again, we have the kids toddy. We made our kids toddy, okay, to help support some more nutrients for kids that have these issues. But again, everybody, regardless of age, requires the 90 essential nutrients: 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 minutes, and 3 fatty acids. And so this is, you see this, you'll get somebody say, well, yeah, we had a sudden death syndrome. The kid died when he was 5 years old of sudden death syndrome. Oh, okay. Was he taking any vitamins and minerals? No, he was just, eating the school food. Well, that's why. Okay. You have to take the 90 essential nutrients, because once you get out of that mode where you're eating the baby formulas with all the nutrients in it, where you're getting the nutrients, and then you give up the baby formulas and the nutrients and you go into the school diet, suddenly now you're at risk of having all these nutritional deficiencies, because they're just frying chicken and making spaghetti out of wheat and that kind of stuff, and wonder why everything's going wrong. So I hope that helps you out.
That helps me out greatly. And so when you were a young man, 9 years old, young boy, they said some things about you that were untrue until you found some bags in the barn. Could you explain that, why people thought that you had a problem? And
Okay.
thank
Well,
you.
I was very aggressive. I was very aggressive. 9 years old, very strong because I'm throwing bales of hay. I'm only 9 years old. And it was one of those things where they were going to put me in an institution. They said it's an institution. It was really just a prison for violent kids. Okay. And I'm 9 years old. I'm sitting on the bed on a Friday night. My mom and dad are packing my clothes because on Monday they're going to take me to this facility. And on Saturday morning, because I've been thinking all night, why am I having problems? I'm living on the same farm with all these animals. They don't have the problems. Okay. And so in the morning, I threw my Cheerios and my Wheaties out to the chickens, and I put the alfalfa pellets, all the vitamins and minerals into my cereal bowl, put milk in it, and had that for breakfast. I had that for breakfast on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And on Monday afternoon, I was cured. Okay. It was a huge dramatic result that everybody could see. And so it's one of those things where, I'd go with my mom and dad to go shopping and things, and people knew our family. And so they're whispering and pointing to me because suddenly now I'm a respectable citizen. Okay. And then I go to school and everybody's whispering and pointing to me because now I'm a respectable citizen and not, beating up other kids and that kind of thing. And so this is how I got into this. And of course, I started reading all these books we had for the animals and started helping my friends with their health problems and everything when I was 9 years old. And so that's how this all started.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. So there's a lot of children out there that, the doctors want to put them on drugs right away because they're a little aggressive or, they have, different things that a lot of them didn't understand back then and more know about it now, but they're still being put on drugs. So like, that was a calcium deficiency, what you found. Is that correct?
Well, it's more than that. It's more than that because it had to do with the myelin, the white matter in the brain, having to do with all the stuff that the brain was made out of. It happened to do with what the heart muscles were made out of and so forth. And so, you need 90 essential nutrients, 16 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 3 fatty acids. And I'm reading all this in these pamphlets that we had to deal with the feeding of the animals, the livestock. And so I started eating the way we were having the animals eat, and I'm healing like overnight.
That's great. And so I'm just looking at the hard tissue pack that we have, the bone and joint pack. And that hard tissue pack, it helps with high blood pressure. It helps with kidney stones. It helps with cramps, twitching, and spasms, nervousness, irritability, osteoporosis, panic attacks, restless legs. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that in that bone and tissue pack cover all of those things right there.
Yes, because there's 90 essential nutrients, and it's not just calcium, there's 90 different nutrients in there.
And so there's, the other packs. I was just going to the one is the hard tissue pack, and that basically it helps support them calcium, things that are most efficient. But the soft tissue one has all of the 90 plus this one helps with acne, alopecia, eczema, infertility, low libido, muscular dystrophy.
Yes. And so
macular degeneration.
And so this is because in the animal world, we don't have health insurance like we do for people. And so the farmers had to pay for all this, and they couldn't afford to have the veterinarian come out 3 times a week to deal with all this, and treating the animals for all their problems. So we learned that by giving them all these nutrients, we eliminated the problems.
I appreciate you, Doctor. That also includes asthma, dementia, PMS. Oh, yeah. And so then we also have a third pack, which has the blood sugar pack, which covers for our children, the ADD, ADHD, bipolar, cardiovascular disease, autism, depression, diabetes, night sweats. That's the blood sugar pack, right?
Well, yeah. So you have to, again, appreciate we have recipes for over 600 different diseases. We have recipes for over 600 different diseases. We have recipes for 600 different diseases. I don't know how to say it any other way. And this is why we have 23 books, and we have a flip chart coming out here. The flip chart is like 99.9% done, and the flip chart goes into 75 years of us working on all these diseases, and some of the very famous people we have that had these diseases, and we put them on these programs and got rid of these diseases with our nutritional support programs. And we have pictures of me with these famous people. In some cases, not all the cases, in some cases, just pictures of them. But it's very telling that all these diseases, they're going to see all these expensive doctors and going all over the world to find cures and everything like that. And really, it was just this dumb farm boy figured it all out.
We appreciate it, Dr. Wallach. And so that the fourth pack, which I had to start with all of these, I want you to know, but this one was the most important for me because I had the autoimmune disease and I had heartburn and indigestion, leaky gut. And, you know, it was the beginning of a lot of problems. And I had been on medications for a long time. So I'm really grateful that I was able to find you. And, you know, if it wasn't for Laura and you and the other doctors that have helped us with the team, a lot of people would probably still be suffering. So we're grateful for you.
Well, thank you for the feedback. We appreciate that. And we're family. And we thank you for taking this information and sharing it with others, because we can't be everywhere. I mean, even God had angels and people that he used to help get the message out. And so without us having individuals like yourself and other people who got benefit, who, instead of just going on and not saying anything, they said, okay, I got to share this with other people. So we're very thankful that you did that. And we have to continue that. It's a never-ending story because there's babies being born all the time. And people make the same mistakes if you know, if they're not given the right information and materials. And so it's a never-ending story. Okay.
Well, thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Dr. Wallach. Anybody else have any hands up? Please go ahead and speak up. Thanks.
Okay. Well, don't forget, we have 23 best-selling books. We have the flip chart coming out here in the next a week. It's been very exciting. And so more tools to be able to help more people. The more tools we have, the more people can be helped. And so we're very excited about this flip chart because even if you only have a 6th grade reading level, regardless of your age, guess what? That flip chart presentation, whether it's just to a few people or an auditorium full of people, the presentation is if a PhD in medicine or a medical doctor is giving the presentation. All you have to do is read on each of the diseases. There's like a page or page and a half, and the other part of the page is, and the other page of facing pages like pictures of people that had the disease, famous people, and so forth. And so this is going to be a great movement. It's going to increase our ability to help people faster, more at a time, because the tool will be useful for everybody. Okay, it's a flip chart, and I'm very excited about that. It's like 99.9999% done, and now we're just in the process of getting the packaging and all that kind of stuff together. Okay.
Hey, Doc. So,
Yes, sir.
you know, being a veterinarian, why, can I ask why or how did the veterinary world, well, or the, you know, I don't know who put it out there, but sheep, why do ranchers think their sheep can't have selenium?
I don't know who came up with that. Selenium is required by all critters, including sheep. Okay. They must have selenium.
Right. And you said, I know you've said that steely wool comes from a lack of selenium, correct?
Could be selenium, could be copper deficiency.
Okay.
And in our selenium, we have 5 cofactors, one of which is copper.
Correct. So, but I've talked to several, you know, sheep ranchers that they, you know, they've been told by, I don't know if it's the veterinarians, that their sheep are like allergic or something to selenium.
No.
I know
true.
you've said that, and I believe you. I know it, all vertebrates, according to your actual work, not your research, because you did the work. You didn't research it. You searched it by doing these autopsies. And so, you know what I heard now? That the Smithsonian Institute they're armed now. So I guess they're trying to really protect your book in there.
Well, yeah, that book, they do have to have guards around it because in the beginning, people have stolen a few of them. And of course, they sell for $25,000 to $35,000 each. They represent about 20,000 autopsies. And the book is Disease of Exotic Animals, and very proud of that. But the average person can't afford $25,000 for a book. So we came up with the book called Epigenetics, and so we're one of the co-founders of the science of epigenetics. This has all the information that's in my book that's in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. It sells for $25,000 each. This one sells for $25 each. It has all the same information of the one that's in the Smithsonian Institute that sells for $25,000 to $35,000 each, depending on what country it's in. Okay, so you get the same information in this book. This is $25.
Awesome, Doc. Thank you so much.
You bet. Thank you for having us on. And I know she's got a minute or so left, so I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Okay. Any last minute comments from anybody or questions? Got 1 or 2 minutes. We have a rare opportunity every Wednesday to have Dr. Wallach with us. There's his last call of the day. And Doc starts his day about 5:30 in the morning every day, right, Doc?
Well, it starts at 4:30, so I can be ready for the program at 5:30.
Right. So, yeah, Doc is one of the hardest working guys out there. And you guys, keep coming back, and we'll keep giving you more.
And we do this all year long. So right now is the best time to blooming mineral into the soil, because as soon as these crops are done harvesting, that's when they have to put the blooming minerals down. So it's not just in the spring. It's not just when you see them flowers budding. It's all the time. So spring, fall, and in between. So you want to just elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, when plants pull all the nutrients out of the soil, you have to keep replacing it. Okay. And this is why the people who live the longest come from the land flowing with milk and honey. Was that cow's milk? No. Was it sheep milk? No. Was it camel milk? No. Was it llama milk? No. It's glacial milk. You can read about glacial milk in chapter 10 of the book, Rare Earths and Cures. Glacial milk is ground up rocks at the top of mountains. That's why the Hunzas in the Himalayan mountains live to be, their life expectancy is 120. They come from the land flowing with milk and honey. It's in the old Bible. It's in the Old Testament. People live a long time that come from the land flowing with milk and honey. It's not cow's milk or sheep's milk or llama milk. It's glacial milk. It's ground up rocks. They didn't have the ability to analyze it back then, 3,000, 5,000 years ago. They didn't have all the equipment and the knowledge. Okay, but they knew the people who drank that stuff coming down the mountains in the stream lived longer than the people who didn't drink that stuff.
And that's chapter 10 and Rare Earths Forbidden Cures?
That's correct. Chapter 10. And the title of the chapter is Glacial Milk.
Thank you, Dr. Wallach. We so appreciate you.
Hey, we appreciate you. We're family. Thank you for sharing the information, because every time you share the information, you're saving lives. We can't thank you enough. God bless.
God bless everybody.
Doc. Love you.
Have
Thanks,
a good night.
everybody. See you
Good night,
next week.
everybody.
Good night.
Vaya con Dios.
Hasta la vista, baby. Come with me if you want to live.
Bye, everyone.